So guys, so today I'm going to talk about 5 things I hate about my Acura NSX. Now, although I love this car like completely, because let's be honest, it's the only car that I've bought twice, and I've owned 90 something cars. I might even have passed 100, but I've owned over 90 cars easily. I think when I picked this one up, it might have been 96 at the time, but I've owned over 90 something cars, and this is the only car that I've purchased twice for a lot of reasons. But that's not what this video is about today. This video is strictly about the things that I hate about this car. So to start it off, the one thing that I hate, and it's kind of funny because if you follow me on any social media, or if you've known me for a long time, it's been like the past like 4 like big purchases that I've had, all don't have this. And that feature is a cup holder. My Porsches that I've had, my last 2 Porsches that I had didn't have cup holders. This car doesn't have a cup holder.
Where's cup holder? Where's cup holder? Where's the cup holder? Bro!
I mean, it's just a feature that you're used to having. Everything you get is like Gatorade bottle, water bottle, like everything is just bottled. You can't get like a can of Red Bull or something like that because you can't put it on the floor or you'll make a mess. So that's like the biggest thing that I hate about this car, which isn't, I mean, it's live-withable. I mean, it sucks, but hey, you're in a race car. Like, you're in a car that should not be drinking, but at the same time, it's the NSX. When it was built, it was like the practicality of it and how NSX stands for New Supercar Experimental, and how it's supposed to be a practical supercar. Because back when this car was made, no supercar that you could buy was like something you could everyday drive. Unlike this, even though I don't everyday drive this, you easily can. It's still very reliable, and it still has all the amenities that a supercar needs. So yeah, I mean, it's practical, but it doesn't have cup holders. The second thing that we're going to get into is it's slow. I mean, if you know an NSX or you know a friend with an NSX, it's not a fast car. I mean, to give it like a little bit of gauging point, if you are into cars, straight line speed, it's about as like a Subaru STI with like stage 2 full bolt-ons and like a downpipe and like a Cobb access port, which is not far by fast. And I'm sorry if you drive a Subaru and those are your modifications, but
whack.
it's not fast. It's quite slow, but that's not what the point of this car is. I mean, for the price of this car, you can go buy a GTR and completely modify it to be crazy horsepower for the same price that you could pick up an NSX for. So I mean, if you want to go fast in a straight line, this is not the car to buy. It's far from fast, but it is very quick around a track, and it's definitely a driver's car. It's definitely a purist's car. You have to truly like cars for beyond the point of either being super low or looking flashy or being fast. It hits all that in the right aspects and where it's needed. It's just a driver's car. Like, if you're not a big car fan, if this is a phase for you and you're not a true enthusiast, it's just not the car for you. So with that being said, it looks really fast. And when I tell you, everywhere I go, everyone's like, oh, I'll race that thing. I'm like, yeah, well, it's not that impressive if you could beat it in a straight line. I mean, it's not fast by a long shot. The third thing that I hate about this car is something that a lot of people probably won't hate. It's just me personally, but I hate about this car is the steering wheel. I hate it so much, and I feel like the steering wheel is such a big portion of the car. I feel like it's something that you have to love because you have to look at it. I mean, it's the only thing you're staring at when you're driving, and your peripherals really. And the steering wheel is a big, it's a big thing for me. I just like the look of a nice steering wheel. And factory, this steering wheel is just chunky. It's big. It looks like a giant pillow. It's ugly in my opinion. It doesn't give me a sexy appeal to it. It's just like there, and it's big and it's bulky. It reminds me of like a minivan or like a older car. I mean, granted, it is an older car, but it just doesn't have like that nice steering wheel feel. I mean, it is thicker on the edges, but like the airbag itself is just ugly in my opinion. I hate it. And then obviously there's ways around it. Like, I could just go get a different steering wheel, or I could get the NSX-typeR steering wheel, and they're a lot nicer. I think they use like a Momo in there, but it's a lot nicer steering wheel. This one, bulky, ugly, hate it. There's ways around it. I just haven't got to it yet. Fourth thing that I hate about this car is, and this is only something that you would know if you have an NSX. So fourth thing would be wheel and tire choice. When you buy one of these cars, it's really hard to find wheels, nonetheless tires, which I'll get into that in a second. But wheels alone, if you guys don't know, and you probably don't know because when you look at an NSX, you'll never even notice that the tire sizes or the wheel sizes are different. The rears, I mean, I run 18s and 17s, but factory, they normally come with 15s in the front and 16s in the rear, or in the later models, I think they're 16, 17. I might be wrong about that, but either way, it's a double stagger. You're talking a big wheel in width and a bigger wheel in diameter. So you still have to find, like, you're never gonna find a set of wheels that, for another car, that's gonna fit this. Like, you can't hit up your boy that has a Civic and with his wheels are for sale. It's like, hey, like, I'll buy them. Like, it just doesn't work. I mean, you could run the same all around, minus width, I think. I mean, you could, but it'd be really small in the rear. But it just wouldn't work. I've seen cars with 18s or 17s all around, and it just looks hard. It looks so horrible. It looks almost comical. You don't notice because the styling of the NSX was built around that double stagger wheel. So that wide and taller wheel in the front, and it just doesn't look any different. I'm sorry, in the rear, it doesn't look any different than the front. So with that being said, you have to run a staggered setup, and plus that's the way it handles. It's meant to be on a smaller wheel in the front and a bigger wheel in the back. Like I said, I'm not just talking about width, I'm talking about, height and diameter of it. So now getting into tires. If you want matching tires all around, if you're like me and is like a perfectionist about tires and them being the same all around, it's so hard to do that. I mean, I think off the top of my head, there's like 3 companies, and I can't even think of the one. But I know like Falcon is one of them. And then there's Yokohama Advent 8008Rs. There's like literally 3 different, obviously I'm talking stock body, because if you go wide body, you can get all kinds of stuff. But if you want a tire to match all around the rears and the fronts, you're gonna need to have one of those 3 options. And it's annoying because like the predicament that I was just in a couple months ago is I needed new tires for the rear, but my tires in the front were great. The 8008Rs were out of stock, so I couldn't get them anywhere, so I had to end up going with the Falcons, which I wasn't happy about, but I ended up doing it because it's the only way I could have matching tires all around. So I couldn't even find them for the rear. And that's mainly because like the rear ones, like I said, so you need to find a tire company that has an 18-inch rim, that also makes the same tire for a 17-inch rim, that has the crazy wide width that the NSX can hold in the rear, and then as well as the crazy small width that the NSX fronts have. So it's just complicated. It's super hard to like get them to match all around. I remember on my black NSX, I ran a Michelin Pilot Super Sport in the rear, and I forget what I did in the front. Probably, I think it was the Falcons in the front. But once you go like aftermarket to a 17-18 option, you're like beat. Like there's like nothing on the market for you. And like I said, if they're out of stock, then figure it out. You might have to run a mix match, which if it doesn't bother you, it's not a big deal. But I like to be, just real formal all around with the same tire. All right, now getting into the last thing that I hate about this car, and some people could have their thoughts about it, and I feel like every video about the NSX and their ups and downs about it is this same thing, and it all comes down back to this same feature, and it's just the attention that you get from it. And I'm not going to ramble on about, some people are like, oh my god, it gets so much attention that it's bad. That's not what I'm going to say. It's the negative attention that you get that can be annoying. And what I mean by that is, everywhere you go, on a Friday night, Saturday night, I live by Seaside, New Jersey, so that's like a party townish area. You go over there, people are drinking and stuff like that. Everyone wants to see it, everyone wants to touch it, look at it. No big deal. It's just, everyone that comes out will literally argue with you, telling you that it's a Ferrari. And you could tell them that you're blue into the face. And me, in my case, being red, kills that idea even more, because it's just, everyone is just like, it's a Ferrari, it's a Ferrari, it's a Ferrari. It gets a little, it irks you a little bit, because it's not. I mean, no one, if you don't know about cars, then you're going to think it's a Ferrari anyway. But this car was set out to look better than the Ferrari when it came out. It was supposed to beat the Ferrari when it came out in every aspect. And I mean, granted, it did beat the goal it was going after. It destroyed that. So I mean, it's almost like funny enough, it's a smack in the face. And I'm not saying that, hey, this car's better than every Ferrari. But what this car's job was to do was to destroy the Ferrari in multiple ways, and it succeeded in that. The Ferraris that it was put up against. And I mean, yeah, so funny enough, it kind of is a smack in the face when it sounds like it's Ferrari. But at the same time, I mean, it's kind of cool to have that supercar effect, which it does. Anywhere you go, it's a supercar. Anywhere you go, you can be in rallies and all kind of stuff. You fit right in. But yeah, that negative attention can be annoying. And aside from just the Ferrari, it's a Ferrari standpoint, it does get annoying to, like, if you were to drive an NSX. I mean, when I drive mine, I hate driving it to, like, go, like, you don't want to go on a date on it because I hate being away from it, that I can't see it. These cars are extremely easy to steal, and, like, people will always want to park next to them. They want to touch them. They want to take pictures on them. Parts aren't easily ready for this car, so scratches and stuff like that are not ideal and can be a super big headache when you're buying parts and trying to replace things that people messed up on you. So yeah, I mean, it's horrible when you're going anywhere. I mean, going to the movies, I'm like having a heart attack because I'm like worried about if someone's touching my car, if someone's doing this. And I don't care how far you park, someone wants to just park right next to you. Like, it's cool, man. I got a Civic Si, so I'm going to park next to you. Like, that's really how it is. Like, every time you come out, I mean, if you have me on Snapchat or Instagram, you see every time when I drive in, I'll park super far and I'll go to the gym or something like that. And I come out and here's my car surrounded by a ton of cars and there's a million parking spots open. So the negative attention can get annoying. But then again, I mean, if you're buying this car, you know what you're getting into. Anyway, so that's the 5 things that I absolutely hate about my Acura NSX. Take these things into consideration if you do plan on buying one. And stay tuned for next week, because next Thursday I'm going to be releasing the next video, which is basically going to be the same thing but reversed. The 5 things there's a lot of things I love. So the top 5 things that I love about my Acura NSX. But yeah, guys, that's a wrap. So thank you for watching. As always, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And drop a comment on something that you don't like about the NSX, or do like. Give me some ideas for next week's video. But thanks, guys. I'm FrankieTypeR. I'm out. Is he doing? So you just my cameraman just gonna poop on camera. Now I'm gonna tag you for that. I hope that's in there because I'm tagging you.